best entrepreneurs are like smart, lazy people, right?
So Jesse has 17 plus years of building startups.
I raised, 35 million plus for that company. We went to, 0 to 10 million in revenue, in under 3 years in 2014 to 17.
That was things we don't hear about really. Like
every time I started a business, it's like I'm delusional yet again, right?
Thinking about algorithm and automation in 2011 is like
And trying to build a really big business, you have to have a big enough TAM, like a big enough foundation. So are there enough customers that will pay you, right? And then you have to build a product that they're going to be willing to pay for forever. Yeah, basically practical experience is way more valuable than anything you're going to learn at university. Like go out and do the thing. Built a desk that we built a 3D printer on that we made the first, prototypes with. Got a Guinness Book of World Records for that.
You're not going to use Claude and build a $1 billion company because some other dude did it.
If you are really good at talking, you're good at anything.
This for me is really, really exciting because I've been doing podcasts for the past 4 years in Egypt and meeting entrepreneurs in Egypt. I've worked a lot with entrepreneurs in the US, but it's the first time that I would have like a long conversation with someone that has your experience in business and in the founder business. And I'm very excited to have multiple different conversations, on social media, on what's going on and how social media is impacting founders and impacting people and how it's represented, and the AI world right now, how is it changing the world and everything. So if people don't know, today we have Jesse Lozano.
Yeah.
What's your background? You're Lozano is
Mexican. Yeah,
Mexican.
Yeah.
Congrats yesterday on your win on 1-0. I don't know if you follow the World Cup or not.
It's fine. If it's not about AI or my daughter, then I don't know about it. So, born in South Africa, lived there until I was about 6, moved to the U.S. My dad is Texan, my mom's Scottish.
Nice.
My dad was adopted by a Mexican family in the 50s, but he's not genetically Mexican. So
in Mexico or
in Texas.
In Texas, here in Texas. That's really
in Georgetown, actually, just a little north of here, and then moved to the UK when I was 13 with my parents and stayed there.
That's very interesting. Yeah. It's honestly great to have someone that became at your level of success coming from from your dad that lived through hardships, and I feel this is something that impacts a lot of people in life, and I feel like it could go two ways. But it looks like your dad, now you're here. It's something great to see, and it gives a lot of hope.
Yeah. Although I gotta say he didn't live through any hardships. I don't think he was great. My grandparents were awesome.
Nice.
It's like super American dream type stuff. Had a literal white picket fence house in Georgetown. My grandpa was firefighter. He was in World War II. He was a firefighter for most of his life. And
wow.
My grandmother, she worked at the Georgetown Hospital her whole life. So in janitorial. So they were great.
That's really impressive. I just want to tell people a little background on who Jesse is. So Jesse has 17 plus years of building startups, which is pretty impressive. You look super young. I don't know how you have 17 years of experience in building startups.
I'm 38 now.
Wow. You're Ahab's age. You're 3 years older than me, so that's pretty impressive already, man.
Yeah.
Multi-time founder, 2 exits. Mm-hmm. Raised over $40 million across ventures, studied law at King's College London. You moved to the UK, so that's very interesting. Previously built and exited an automation company, founded an education technology company, PyTop, raised over $35 million for PyTop, scaled globally into education and government markets. And right now, you've just raised $30 million for Intellectible.
$5 million.
$5 million for Intellectible.
Yeah. $30 million will be, in a couple of years.
And I'm sure you'll reach that with that resume and how Intellectible is actually. I'm really excited to talk about Intellectible and the problems that you guys are solving. And I'm really interested to understand the future, how you see the future of AI, especially that you're heavy into operations as well. Yeah. So it's really a cool mix that we don't talk a lot of people talking about. People are really trying to talk more about like automations and things that, so it's really cool to see a founder that has the mix about AI and operations. So I'm really excited to have these conversations. But in the beginning, Jesse, I really want to understand your background and how someone can reach that level of drive to start these things and to believe. How can you believe in yourself to be able to do these amazing ventures? Growing up.
You know, I think for me. When I came to the UK, it was interesting, right? Moving from a school that I had like 156 kids in the whole school that I went to.
In the UK?
Yeah, in the US.
In the US.
And then I moved to the UK. I went to a boarding school and had a 95% scholarship to go to one of the best boarding schools in the UK, sports and academic. But, you know, being around very expensive school, right? And I was a scholarship kid, so not in the same kind of,
would have your family been able to afford it? I don't know.
No, God,
they wouldn't be able to afford it.
Not a chance.
Okay,
no.
so this is something for millionaires, for like the higher. It's funny. I was just talking to my friend about this. It's now I'm growing up and I'm seeing the difference in how the education's impact on a younger stage, the people that go to boarding school, private school and public school. Yeah. Of course, some people make it from public school. Like there's a lot of people that were, but how much do you think it impacts like on people in?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously the quality of education there was, unbelievable. The teachers were fantastic. The sports, they held the like European Commonwealth Games at that school, right? There was at the time, I think there was, only 2 Olympic swimming pools in the UK, and one of them, was at Millfield School, where I went. And, great school, fantastic teachers. You really learn, at a very high level there. And it was, I have nothing bad to say about the school. But then for someone like me, what I did at that, so I was at boarding school. Everybody had loads of money. I did not have any money, right? And so I would go, there was on a Thursday from, I think it was like 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, the boarding house would let you do anything you wanted for that 1 hour, but you had to be back by curfew time.
So you could go out of the school?
Yeah. So I would run to the Tesco, which is like, a grocery store, right? I would run to the Tesco. It was like a 2.5 mile run. And I would buy like all the 11 pence noodles and 5-cent chocolate bars and stuff like that, and then I would run back to the boarding school because in England it's called like snacks are like tuck. So there was a tuck shop in the boarding house, but the boarding house was only open for like maybe like 30 minutes a day, right? And the older kids, like they want stuff at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, right? I wonder why, right? And so I would be there with I bought a chest and I would lock it, and I was like the unofficial talk shop kid. And so and I would make like a good amount of money,
like $4.
So everything was £1, right? Yeah. So it's like I buy it for like in America I buy it for like 10 cents. I sell everything for $1. So they come to me and I anything was $1, right? And I would make a couple $100 a week selling chocolate and crisps and noodles and stuff out of the thing. Yeah,
how did this make you feel? Like I have two questions. Like, how did you feel bad for yourself that you see all the other kids that they were privileged to have like the money to get all these things? Did you ever, thinking about now, do you feel like, did it impact you in a negative way and you were like sad about it? Or did it give you the drive and give you like this type of like confidence, like, yeah, I'm a businessman and I run the show here?
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily like a confidence thing. It was more, I don't know. I knew how people should, or at least I felt like I knew how, people should behave. And so I could kind of like emulate that, even though you're not actually feeling confident, but you can just pretend, and then, it's, and then you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just, I think that, my parents always talked about money a lot. It was a lot of, it was a conversation that was, like a weekly thing, through like arguments and that kind of stuff. And so it was just always present there. So it was, so that definitely like left a kind of like indelible kind of, mark. But yeah, I think, I don't know, I just always wanted to be the best or try my best, right? I always wanted to win. And so, and then being a scholarship kid, if you're not good, right? If you don't win, if you're not the best, then they take your
You don't belong at all.
right?
Yeah.
Well, then you can't go anymore, right? So you have to keep at a high level. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, it's hard for me to say, this is an interesting answer, I suppose, but it's not that I'm confident or not. I'm very confident, but it's not, I don't have to think that I'm confident. I just know that if I try to do something, I will do it.
Love it.
So that's there's never, if I'm going to do something, it's not like, ooh, am I going to be able to do it? I'm going to go do it.
I love that. In boarding school and in more expensive school, what do you feel that they try to how did they try to build your mindset? And what do you think they try to, what is the difference between building you and someone that is being built in like a public school or? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's just like your exposure to people who've done great things or they don't really have like their mind, you don't really have like a glass ceiling in your mind or like, the routes that people take, everybody at that school was, it was like, they're playing extremely high level sports, right? National level sports. You're, trying to get into, the best universities in the UK or in the world, right? And that was just kind of a, pretty expected pathway for a lot of kids that were there. So it's not that they, I don't know if they intentionally do that, but it was just a thing that happened, right? You're at, one of the most expensive schools in the UK. Like, the results have to be there too, right? So you're just constantly around people that are, I mean, so many kids in that school went to the Olympics, right?
Wow.
For example, and so many kids were playing, we're playing at very high level sport, right? And winning all the time, and so you just get in that kind of mindset, I suppose. But it's not that it's not that I don't know if they try and instill that in you, but there is a sense that anything is possible.
If someone that can afford boarding school like this, like if you're a parent right now and you can't afford this boarding school for your kid in the US, what would you do to basically give your kids like a mindset that's very close to what you got in this boarding school, and they're going to public school? What would you do?
Yeah, so I think. So in my second company, right, it was an ed tech company, and we I probably educated, I don't know, somewhere in the region of 4 to 5 million students when I was doing that. I was very in the beginning of that company, I was very hands on with a lot of schools, right, literally going to schools, talking to teachers, testing out product.
How old are you when
I started PyTop in 2014, so
wow.
I guess I was 26, 27, and. You're going and I'm very hands-on with everything. So that's a prelude to actually, it kind of doesn't matter if you go to a bad school or a good school, right? Parental involvement is one of the most important aspects of success on the other side, with exceptions, right? Now, there were people who that I know from Millville, they have not become anything, right? And they've done way worse than anybody at a normal school would. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But I think the amount of parental involvement, being a good role model for your kid. I've got a 4.5-year-old daughter, and I try and be a solid role model for her so that she understands what it's like to be a good human and try hard and do stuff. But yeah, so I think if you go to a normal, I'm not planning on sending Aurelia to Millfield or anything like that.
The beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. It's Caesar's mother's name. It's a strong historical female name.
Love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think parental involvement, just being there and trying to be a good influence is what will separate.
How can parents educate themselves on being better like to have better parental influence?
You know, I think about that a lot sometimes, and you know, the short answer to it is I don't actually know, because sometimes I don't know why people think the things that they think. And you know, I didn't understand why my parents thought a lot of the things that they thought, and you know, and I you know, wouldn't be, you know, I'm not the same as that, you know. So I think that yeah, it's, you know, sometimes you just you know, you have the right experiences, I guess, or there's just something in your brain that's different and right, and you know, and sometimes people can't escape that kind of like you know, that there's that kind of very, I kind of associate it with like a really consumption-based attitude where you're just like constantly trying to show off and like, you know, let your ego kind of win over other people and whatnot. And I think that, you know, that's, you know, that you know, so I don't know why people act like that. That's
very, very, very interesting. I'd love to talk about your first company, and I want to go on the journey, and even before your first company, on how you got into becoming a founder and becoming a builder. Right. So how did these steps, like, first of all, you started the tuck business, so that was your first venture that for sure built something, and I feel these small little experiences is actually what builds you to be this person that you are today.
Yeah.
So what was the second venture that was actually serious for you?
Well,
and you went to university. You finished university.
Went to university, yeah. So I tried a lot of things when I, you know, from, you know, I would say from about like 13, 14 years old.
Crazy.
I was doing stuff. I don't include that in the 17 years of experience. But you know, so my parents were kind of like mom and pop entrepreneurs, right? They had like little things that they would do, and they were kind of
plus a full-time job, or they were just hustlers.
Hustlers, yes, and so I got exposure to, you know, my dad was, you know, he's a great salesperson, or was.
Nice.
So I had exposure to that, you know, and also, you know, I guess I noticed when I was younger that, you know, sort of popular kids could speak nicer. They were funny, and you kind of, you know, I read a book, Words That Work, when I was like 14, and you try and practice to speak well, to be persuasive, and do that kind of stuff. But then, I mean, you know, after the tuck shop, you know, I did other funny stuff. You know,
I love that we're talking about the tuck shop with your like 40 million plus ventures.
I kind of, you know, I ended up playing a lot of poker until I was 18. I also worked. I worked at a pub. I was a sous chef at a gastro pub, and when you know, from 14 to 15, and then I was a barman, waiter and then I turned 18. I was a barman.
This was in Europe, or
this is all in the UK.
All in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So always constantly like working to try and make money, and do things. And then I went to my first uni. Tried to make some things work there with a few ventures that just didn't end up working out. Nothing that I approached too seriously. You know, I probably took that first university degree. I did too. You know, I had
was it a scholarship also?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun at that university, and then I did my sort of serious degree at King's with the law degree.
The law degree.
Yeah, so I did graduated with a law degree from King's. I was the alumni of the year in 2019 for STEM though, which was kind of funny. But for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Yeah, at law school, I really tried to be a great lawyer. I won a few national competitions for it. I ran the largest student paid for legal publication called Red Tape there, and that was really fun. I kind of, you know, it was hilarious that I was the editor of that magazine, because I wasn't particularly great at being an editor, but what I was really good at was selling the magazine and getting sponsorships for the magazine. So, so I did that, and then I did about a year at the City AM in London, which is a newspaper there, and then started working in Parliament, and then that's how I built the first automation business. Yeah.
That's super interesting. I want to go back to your first degree that you did. Was it do you think it was a waste of time, the first degree? And like how long did it take you to finish your first degree? Was it like 2 years, 3 years?
3-year degree.
3-year degree.
Law degree, yeah.
And after, because a lot of people now they do university and everything. They're like, yeah, I don't like this career. I don't want to do this. This is not. And they're like, I'm not gonna go back and waste more time. To do something it's like already was. But for me, like, what do you think about that mindset? It's like, is there anything called time wasted? Like,
well, I think when you're not trying to, well, it depends. Sometimes wasting time is like a good thing. It lets your mind reset. You don't have to be trying super hard all of the time, right? But I think that university has changed now, and it depends on who you are and what you're doing. When I went to uni, it was very cheap, right? And you could pay for it whilst going through it, which is what I did. Nowadays, honestly, if you're not doing a pretty hardcore STEM-based degree, then I don't have a lot of I don't sort of hold a lot of merit in university degrees, and then with the sort of state of AI and the way that the work force is kind of happening, I think basically practical experience is way more more valuable than anything you're going to learn at university. Like, go out and do the thing. That's why I think MBAs are useful, but also kind of funny. Because it's like, just go out and start a business, and that's how you're going to learn how to run a business.
Love it. I totally agree with that point. But why do you think people choose to go through university and education instead of taking that risk? And do you think maybe it has to do with growing up with a father? Like, for me, my father also is someone that started a lot of small businesses and always trying to, like, until this day, since I was 10 years old, he's trying to open a restaurant, and he still tries every year to go and open a restaurant and take a risk. And he never is giving up from his core business. So do you feel like you see risk differently, and that's why?
Yeah. So I don't think it's necessarily from the parent side of things, but I've always just I do perceive risk differently, in that I don't really perceive risk in a way, and it's not that's not to say I go and do things that it's like a calculated bet, right? And I feel that it's not risky because I have, I'm always thinking of worst case scenario. I guard against worst case scenario, but I'm planning for, you're hoping for best case, right? And yeah, I think a lot of people, to go back to the uni, I think a lot of people go into university because it's just the expected thing to do, right? People want to do what they're expected to do. A lot of people do, right? It's actually very rare to go against the grain and say, like, well, I'm not going to do the perceived thing that everybody is saying is the correct thing to do, right? And university is that perceived correct thing to do, right? Finish high school, go to university, go to the best one that you can, like rack up a bunch of student debt, and then go and get a job, at corporate, and, it spends too much money on a car and all this kind of stuff, right? And people just go through this pipeline. And then before they know it, they're like 30 years old, and, they've got like, $30,000 or $40,000 in car debt. Maybe they have a house at that time if they're doing well, maybe they don't. Maybe they're renting some place that's too expensive because they want to look good and all that kind of stuff. And now you're on the hamster wheel. And then, like, the risk of leaving the hamster wheel at that point is so big, because, you got to make a lot of money straight away to keep paying for all that debt that you racked up. Right. So that was probably one of the best things that I did was, not having a large amount of debt. But I also acknowledge university now it's a totally different stratosphere in terms of how much it costs to go through university now. But yeah, if it was me, I just wouldn't go into university. It just depends on, what you envisage yourself doing. But I think, like physical labor kind of jobs are super well protected in today's economy, and you can make a lot of money doing that, and then sort of become the business owner of that. And if you want to go down the, consulting route, or sort of the brain route, I guess, like I'm going to, sell my ideas type route, well, you better be really good at that and super competitive, because, there's it's a highly competitive market.
If you would choose one skill that you've learned from your law degree, the first degree that you've done, and your great sales skills, you know, which one would you pick if you'd had to pick and focus on? Like right now, if we go back, instead of spending all this money, because now law degree is probably super expensive, you know, what would you do? Like, how would you with the knowledge that you know now?
So I make this joke often. You know, if you're really good at being a lawyer, you're really good at being a lawyer. If you're really good at being an engineer, right, you're really good at being an engineer. If you are really good at talking, you're good at anything. I love it. I didn't expect that. That's what it took me. That's really good. Yeah. Okay. Love that answer.
So let's talk about your first real venture. That's with the big boys, I would say, and going into entrepreneurship. Can you talk to us about it? Because I'm excited to go, because I really want to take the build up on how we reach to Intellectible. Yeah. Because I feel Intellectible is like a mix of a lot of the experience that you have.
Yeah. I described Intellectible. It's like my magnum opus, right? It's you learn a lot of things going through the venture scale business sort of track, and Intellectible hits a lot of, basically every box that it should hit on that regard. But I'll talk a little more about the early ones. I basically got a job at City AM newspaper because I knew someone there, and then I ended up selling an advert for them, and then sort of worked there for a bit. Didn't like it. Honestly, it was just too much. I guess it's been a long time, but it's just too much drinking, man. I couldn't do it.
I don't expect your answers, dude. I'm like expecting something to go completely different.
It's like I couldn't deal with it. So I left and went to Parliament. So I started working for think tanks and sort of people involved in Parliament, basically partly off the back of the reputation I had at being a journalist for a small amount of time, and then and having a law degree. So I basically started doing research and helping people get what they cared about into the news, and kind of get people's eyes on what they cared about. And so I then realized when I was in Parliament, like the web guys made all the money, right? They were, I'm doing what I'm doing, and then, this guy's selling a website, and he's charging, at the time, this is 2011, right? He's charging like, $5,000 for a website. And I was like, my God, like what the, so then I got mistaken for somebody else at an event. I guess, tall, skinny, white guy. They thought I could make websites, right? So so then the guys, so anyway, I sell the guy, he's like, well, how much for a website? And I'm like, 1,300 pounds, right? And he's like, all right,
okay, you're
great.
in Europe, all this, you're still in the UK.
This is me in London. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, great. And I go back home and I call up my friends. I'm like, how do I build a website? So I started making websites with, I started paying one of my friends to build websites, and then I was getting more customers.
Outsourced.
I asked one of my other friends who sold websites. I was like, how do you charge so much for your websites? And he's like, oh, I just double my price every single time. And then when somebody pushes back, then I go back to the previous price.
Yeah.
And which is a great lesson for anybody. Like, just keep increasing your prices until people shouldn't just say yes straight away. They should kind of and ah about it a little bit, and then you kind of know you're charging the right price, right?
100%. It'd be exciting to learn about this, because you sold software as well.
Yeah.
So how to price software, it'd be interesting to discuss, because
pricing software is an art for sure. And the short answer is you want to look at the return on investment that the customer is going to get, and you want to charge them an appropriate amount for the return. But and you need to just convince the customer that they're going to get that return on investment, and then you charge them appropriately. But which is kind of a nothing answer, but it is the correct answer. But if I had the secret to exactly how you should price software, then I'd probably be even better spot than I am now. So so I started building websites. I realized that what I could do is give people a 25% discount to the website if they paid me a $500 maintenance fee month on month to keep their site up and all this kind of stuff. And
recurring revenue.
Yeah, so then I started getting recurring revenue by accident, really, before I even really knew about that. And then I realized that I could automate. What
year was this? This is 2020?
2011, 2012.
2012. Okay.
And so I started automating certain research tasks with a program called Selenium way back in the day, and it's still around, I think. And then I sold that business to a think tank. Nothing crazy, but you know, when you can start automating research and kind of telling people in Parliament whether the news on them is positive or negative, that's kind of what I focused on.
That is so high level to think this way at that time, 2011, you know, like
Yeah.
I've been thinking.
Oh, but I was like crazy person too. I was like calling up like quasi competitors, and I just be like, "Hey, you're doing this all wrong." I just call them up. I'd be like, "You're doing this all wrong," and like, you know, because I was also trying to, you know, I was really trying to like sell the business too. So I was trying to get a lot of people to buy the business, and I'd call up, you know, these like kind of legit startups at the time, and then there's just this crazy guy telling them that, you know, everything they're doing is wrong, and I've got, you know, I'm doing it right, and so you should buy my company. Is
like,
I mean, it's really funny.
Like thinking about algorithm and automation in 2011 is like
Yeah.
you like.
But so yeah, I mean, there was a classic thing where you could kind of use a blackjack card counting like algorithm to measure sentiment analysis based off of you know, allotting like a 1, a 0, or a -1 to certain words in news, which, you know, is like super old hat now, and it was, you know, but you know, it was an interesting thing back then, and yeah, it was relatively simple to do.
That's really impressive, man. It's really impressive to have your mind work like this. Is it from like reading a lot, like different like articles, things like this? Like how do you bring your brain to think this way? You know, and
And
that's no one really around you is thinking that way, right? Like you're not really getting inspired. There's not, right?
Yeah, I think it's just like having an active imagination.
Wow.
So when I was a kid, like my friends used to be like, Jesse, like stop talking. You know, like
Yeah.
you know, I'd imagine these like scenarios, right? And you know, and I would talk too much, right? But I think, you know, you just sort of, you know, having an active, you know, being a problem solver and having an active imagination, like good, you know, good combination. But yeah, it was just, you know, I essentially I was just trying to I was trying to solve for a problem. My problem was I needed to pay rent. I had no money, right? So how do I solve for that problem? Okay, like I'm working in Parliament. Okay, I need to make more money. How do I solve for that problem? The web guys make all the money. How do they? I'm going to figure out how they make money, right? I'll sell websites. Okay, you know, now I'm paying people to make websites. Well, I don't want to pay those guys to make websites, so I'll figure out how to build the websites. Now I figure out how to build the websites. I'm still doing all this research. Surely there's got to be something that I can do to like not have to do this research. So it's like, I can't remember who said it, but one of the great quotes is like, you know, the best entrepreneurs are like smart, lazy people, right? Because you're like, I want to make money, but I need to automate it, right? I need to figure out how to make money without, you know, spending all my time doing it. Right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the endeavor there. And then, yeah, sold that business and started PyTop in 2014.
What did you learn from exiting from this first business? Because that's a really big step. Selling a business, I feel like it would teach you a lot of like unsaid lessons or unteachable lessons that you wouldn't really learn anywhere in university or anything, like you said, like an MBA and everything. What are the lessons that you got, and what switch happened when you exited your first company?
Honestly, and this is going to be an unsatisfactory answer here, I didn't necessarily learn anything from that business. It was, you know, it was like I was being reactive, right? I was constantly, you know, it was like I was in a place, a lot of people, and you're like moving and you know, figuring out how to do stuff. But like almost by like pure brute force, i.e. you're trying stuff, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so, no, I basically, you know, I was able to take that background, and then I got into this accelerator called Entrepreneur First in London. Great, you know, Matt and Alice, the head of Entrepreneur First. I mean, fantastic people, and a great accelerator that I was a part of. I met my co-founder Ryan Dunwoody at that accelerator, and we started PyTop. I think, you know, the first business, you know, I figured out that I could make things and sell things, right? And and there's a way to do it. And, you know, I used to have, there are tricks to doing things, like presentation is important and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, one of the hilarious things that I used to do in Parliament when I was selling to someone new, like I had the iPad mini was like a new thing, right? So I had the iPad mini, I would sit like this as we are, right? And I would talk to the person, and we would be talking, right? And they would be describing the website that they wanted. Now, because of law school, and then my school in Texas was a very religious school, and so I had to memorize a lot of Bible verses. It's really easy for me to like remember what somebody said to me. And so I would sit across from them, and they would be describing the website, and I would just be typing, right, looking directly in their eyes, typing. I'm typing total gibberish, right? Total gibberish, right? And then, but they're sitting across from me, and they're like, "Holy, God, this guy's looking at me in the eyes, touch typing on this iPad Mini. I'm like a freaking alien to them, right?" And so of course they're gonna get me to build their website. And if they ever would have looked at what I'm typing, it was literally just nothing. So yeah, so you learn some, showmanship tricks and stuff like that. And just, people want, when you're selling something, you have to show them, you have to be, good at selling it and talking about it. Really, and it's easier to do that when you're, part of the reason I could do that was one, I knew that I was going to remember everything that they told me.
Yeah.
2, I knew I was going to give them a great product and that they were going to be super happy with it. And 3, I knew I could get a lot of traffic to that product with the things that I was doing. So it's not like it was easy. It was easy for me to sell that because I knew I could do it and I believed in it. And then the same thing happened with, going into doing PyTop. And, me and my co-founder, he moved into my flat in London.
Wow.
We built a desk that we built a 3D printer on that we made the first, prototypes with, got a Guinness Book of World Records for that.
No way.
Yeah, world's first 3D printed laptop. It was
amazing.
Yeah, which I actually got that email in a sales call, in a sales meeting I had with Best Buy. You want to sell laptops to a big corporate, get a Guinness Book of World Records in the middle of the final sales presentation, and you're going to win the deal, right?
Talk about wow.
yeah. But it was so fine. I very nearly emailed them back and said, like, I didn't technically 3D print the whole laptop. I just 3D printed the shell, and but we, but then I thought, I deleted all that, and I was like, thank you very much. Like, I'll take it. So yeah, and then I would say where I learned most of my business sort of knowledge, the real stuff was building PyTop, right? That was I raised $35 million plus for that company. We went to 0 to 10 million in revenue in under 3 years back in 2014 to 17.
That was things we don't hear about really, like.
Oh, that was crazy. That was crazy. That was like I was just hitting home runs, one home run after the other, just like left, right, and center. It was crazy. It was nuts. Which is dangerous in its own right because you start to feel like I'm walking on water right now. I can do no wrong. But that hardware, software content, and teacher training, right, to put computer science into countries around the world. So we put computer science into Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, Mexico, Bhutan, a lot of districts in the USA, and and in the UK, Japan. I mean, we shipped product to 92 countries across the world, and I flew all around the world, delivering that. And back then you still had to go and meet people in person, right? Because it was all pre-COVID. So I'm on an airplane every 4 to 5 days, international every 2 weeks.
You were like 20, 23, 24?
No, 27 at this
27?
time. 26, 27 for PyTop when I started it. And, we had my co-founder moved to China. He's from Manchester, England. He moved to China. He's still there. Has a company there called Powerhouse. Awesome. LinkedIn. You should definitely, if you ever want to go to Shenzhen and interview somebody amazing, then
100%.
Go and chat to Ryan. He's super cool. Did everything there, and you have to deal with margins. You have to deal with, warranties with hardware. So there's, shipping, there's logistics. It was pretty much the hardest business that you could possibly think to build. And I had no idea how hard it was going to be when I started it.
Can we start from the relationship with you and your co-founder, how it started and and then like moving in together? Like, I feel like being this serious and taking this commitment and showing your partner that you're this serious, I think it's so important, and it's something that we lack. A lot of people talk.
Oh yeah, so many people talk. Yeah.
And zero execution.
Yeah.
So
that a lot of people talk, but like, will you fly to China and start living there and in the production factory part of like northern Shenzhen, Guangdong province, he lived with 16 other Chinese factory workers because that's all we could afford at the time. Like, you know, and then and I was working, you know, 15 hours a day, which is not a healthy thing to do, by the way. Like, you shouldn't, you know, I say that during PyTop times, like, we were able to succeed because we didn't have the experience, but we were willing to like eat the mountain, right? It was like, I'm just going to brute force this thing and we're going to win, like, by sheer just volume of work, and like, I will outwork you. We people used to have, like, you know, they talk about like sprints or this, that, and we were like, I would talk to investors and they're like, so how do you like organize your thing? And I was like, we do the juggernaut method. And they're like, what do you mean? And that was just a thing that me and Ryan invented. We're like, we're just gonna fucking outwork everybody, right? Like, you have no idea. Like, we will do whatever it takes, right?
What were your stakes at this time? Like, the first thing was, I want to pay rent and I want to survive and just do good. Like,
still that, but also like wanted to, like, I wanted.
Is it like change the world? I want to change the world, or it's like I want to do something, like, you're just like, because you're an overachiever and everything, and you want to, like, you're the best in law school. You feel this is just something like it's not even.
What I wanted to do was create a great business, right? And that's still primarily what I want to do. You know, why am I building this business now? Well, you know, I got a business to, you know, $100 million plus valuation, and I want to get, you know, I want to get the B, right? Because I feel like I could achieve it, and so, you know, it's kind of a curse in a way, in that, like, if you feel like you can achieve something and then you don't achieve it over your lifetime, you know, for me at least, I would kind of think about that, right? Or at least if I didn't really try, if I didn't know that I left it all out on the field type thing, it's like, okay, if you don't actually make the $1 billion business, but, you know, you really tried, because, like, what a waste if you could do it and then you don't really try to do it. You know, I don't know. I would think about that.
I feel the biggest thing in life is regret. Like, the biggest thing that you can't really bring back. When you go back, it's like, yes. Oh yeah, I could have been the world champion in boxing. Like, yeah,
and it's not. And for me, it's not. There's like two types of regret, right? There's the regret of not doing something, and then there's the regret of doing something. These are totally different categories. The regret of not doing something, for me, that's what would like kill me.
Yeah,
I have plenty of regrets of things that I did. I can't think of a single regret I have of things that I didn't do. I.e., like, I was Mr. Yes. I will go and do the thing. I am gonna go and, you know, I would, you know, with PyTop, like, I would fly all over the world to meet people and do things, and, you know, find myself like in the middle of Oman trying to sell computer science to like a government official, and, you know, and you're like, what am I doing here? But, like, you know, you're there because you're out there trying to do stuff. And so, yeah, it's, you know, it's really easy not to do stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a different category of regret, I think. You know, yeah, if you do something and you mess up and you know, and you regret it, yeah, like, that feeling is still there, obviously. But I feel like it's almost like, it's like quantifiable. You can quantify it because you did it. If you didn't do something, you never know what could have been.
Yeah.
So how do you quantify how regretful you should feel about the action?
That's really a really cool way to look at it. And I was just thinking about that a few days ago, and I was thinking about literally just like, I felt like I should have brought my podcast to the States earlier, like, instead of staying in Egypt for 4 years and doing it there. I'm like, I should have came like 2 years ago, and that was some kind of like, and then it's just like, no, it was, you know. So I was just thinking about something like this for myself on a way smaller scale, you know.
But I'm a big believer in fate and serendipity. You know, if you're trying, you know, then things tend to happen for a reason, I think.
No, I love that. Talking about wanting to build $1 billion company, you know, I feel, you know, now anyone is talking, it's like, yo, I'm gonna go build up. It's like, shut up. You're, you know, it's like, you're not gonna use Claude and build a $1 billion company because some other dude did it, you know, like. So what do you like? How do you feel like with the ideology of people right now? Just thinking that they're gonna build hundreds of million dollars of RR, or, you know, and someone with you with all this, like, just listening to you, like, talk about your experience, like, when you're talking, it's like, yes, this dude will
create a $1 billion company, you know?
I mean, so I'll preface to start. I've seen it. I used to think it took a certain way to win. I've seen everybody win now, all different types of people. And then the other part to that is you can do everything right and you can still lose, right? Both of these statements are
Love it.
are facts in building business. Now, I think people used to ask me like, "What are your goals in life?" And I'd say to make my delusions of grandeur not delusions.
Love it.
So I think it's important to think, yes, I'm going to go out and build a big business, right? Or a $1 billion business if you want to put a number to it, right? For me, I want to build a big business, the biggest I can build. Now, that's not for everybody, right? You got to understand that running a $1 billion business, right, is it's not, private jets and wearing suits and, driving Rolls Royce and all that kind of stuff. It's like an incredible amount of work. And you also have to be very consistent, and you can't, you have to be emotionally stable, right? And you have to be able to deal with like an incredible amount of like mental work, right? All the time. And you still have to be able to sleep at night. So, I think it's great to want to go out and build a big business. Every time I started a business, it's like I'm delusional yet again, right? So I don't blame people for saying that or wanting to do that. Now, there's a few things that you can do to make yourself more likely to be successful in that regard. One, like how big is the market for your business? How big is it really, right? If you're going to try and do like social, right? Like pretty much the biggest you can get, is like Hormonesy or like Tony Robbins type big, and they're huge, and arguably you could say that one day that could get to pretty $1 billion type thing, but that's more of like $100 million thing, which is huge, by the way. Like that's a huge outcome, right? But you have to pick a market where you're not trading money for time, and also your product gives value like exponentially, right? So one of the problems with like course creators and like social and you're trading, it's like kind of a one-time fee thing, and there's going to be a lifetime value to that customer that's not as big as a corporate, right, could be. So if you really want to build a massive business, there's either you're going to do B2C and be a rock star, and it's tough. Or you're going to focus in on B2B, right? So you're going to have a business-to-business software company that creates something that consistently provides value to customers and will never stop providing value, right? So, like with Intellectible, the market is massive. There's 8,700 enterprise service provider companies in the USA that make more than $100 million a year, right? 8,700, yeah. Typically, they're going to be spending between 4 to 6% of their revenue on software, and they have constrained margins, and they're constantly trying to figure out how to make more money, right? How to scale. And previously, they had to scale with humans, right? With like human intellect, but now they can scale their revenue operations with kind of like encapsulated human intellect inside of a platform like Intellectible. And what we'll do with those companies is we'll come in, we'll mark out their standard operating procedures for revenue operations, and then we will tune and build our engines around the ways that those businesses actually work. And because we do that and it gets ingrained into their day-to-day, and it's doing things like finding more revenue top of funnel for them, it's qualifying deals, it's looking at line items, it's reaching out to subcontractors so that they can get prices and quotes. It's creating strategy documents. It's integrating with Salesforce, HubSpot, like other things, right? Their emails, their calendars. It's essentially creating a digital twin and agility layer, right, for revenue in these businesses where none existed previously. They rely on it. They use it every day. And now you can build a serious business on that kind of foundation, right? And so this is, so if you look at kind of like, why did I do Intellectible? One, it's a pure software business, so high margins, although in AI. Some companies, they have very low margins because they're just slamming through Anthropic or OpenAI. We don't do that. So, and that's, to my two co-founders, Ruben Carter and Rosie Higgins, amazing people, right? Extremely smart people that I actually, speaking of how important it is to get the right kind of co-founder, I've been very lucky with co-founders, but Ruben and Rosie, unbelievable people. I actually advised them on another company that they were doing for like 6 months just because I wanted to be there when they were maybe thinking about starting something else. That's how much I respect them, and that's how much I value like a great quality, co-founder set. I have never once worried about, can we build it? Can we do it? Is it going to scale? Blah, blah, these things. And equally, they've probably never, wondered about the CEO side of things. Like, can we raise the money? Are we going to be able to get the sales and these kind of things, right? So you need to be that kind of like twin energy, right? One's the cold front, one's the hot front, or the pairings, and then you create this like storm, right? So with Intellectible, just to round that out, and trying to build a really big business, you have to have a big enough TAM, like a big enough foundation. So are there enough customers that will pay you, right? And then you have to build a product that they're going to be willing to pay for forever, right? Not just today, not next month, not 4 times a year, for 2 years, forever, right? And then you have to have the personal capability to, expand the business and grow with the business, because what you are from that 0 to 1 is, you're like in the dirt, right? And you want other people in the dirt with you, right? Getting stuff done. And then when you get to 1 and then you raise larger rounds, right? When we go out and raise a Series A, you're still very much in the dirt at Series A, but you start to become more of a coach and less of a player because of the size of the business. And then when you get into Series B, as a CEO at least, and to some extent as a technology leader, you're really the head of a larger organization, and it's hard to be the right person at 0 to 1 and also the person that's, all the way up here. But, I think I'm old enough now to understand what that person is like. And I've kind of had some experience being that guy, and I know that I can be that guy. And then the trick is to just make sure that you're, still that guy all the way.
I love it. I want to ask you, how do these businesses right now solve the problem that you're solving? Like, I want to just like bring it, like simplify it for us to really understand, and give us example of like,
so
literally like small
at the crux of it, it's like how do they go and make money, right? So they read RFP, they get RFPs and emails, like requests for proposals and emails, and they have relationships, right? And they do manual things to research a customer, to read the emails, to read the RFP, to price the the products, to making notes, to making sales calls. Like there's all these human things that happen. Right?
Yep.
And with Intellectible, we've got a GovCon engine that will parse all of the federal opportunities every single day for their exact rule sets, right? It's not keyword and sort of product codes. It's a real rule set, exactly like a human would read all those documents, and then shows them, how much opportunities they've got for the day. So a good example, one of our we increased for a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, we increased, qualified top of funnel by over 300%, and we reduced the time it takes for them to search for that qualified top of funnel by 95%. And then we reduce the time it takes for them to write proposals by 80%. And, we've got pricing engines that will reduce the time it takes to price an opportunity by 90%. And then it's all integrated into Salesforce or into Workday, HubSpot. It's creating that, digital twin of their sales process so that they can scale that sales process without adding additional humans to the payroll.
But it will create a lot of jobs, for example, because of you're maybe tripling or quadrupling the revenue on other sides of the business.
I think the companies that embrace AI in a big way will create jobs internally, and I do think we're trending into a winner takes all scenario for basically every market on the planet.
Love it. If one of these companies trying to solve this problem for themselves, the same as you're solving it, how much would they spend? Like,
they already spend millions of dollars a year doing it, right?
They're not finding a solution.
Well,
or it's not working as efficient. Like, why can they have probably millions of dollars in profits? Right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between them trying to figure it out and just using Intellectible?
Well, they got their own things to worry about, right? They've got to go and clean things at scale, cook things at scale, install things at scale, right? They don't have a Ruben and a Rosie that have the technical intellect to be able to build a massive platform like Intellectible. And then they don't have, they don't have a team that's just like laser focused on it, right? So for us, it makes a lot of sense to be laser focused on it. It could be a massive business, right? And so you can see what the future is like. With those companies, they're more focused, like their business is the service or the product that they're selling. It's not, how can I increase our revenues? No, let's build that product, right? They're not, that's not their area of expertise. So that's the case for any type of SaaS or software that you'll sell into any sort of business, right? It's like asking like, well, why don't they just build Salesforce? To an extent, they could probably build Salesforce with Intellectible now, right? But the key is also, it's through lived experience, right? I know the problems that these companies have. And so it's kind of, actually that's a funny thing to say in that, I literally was, I did what these companies do. Find big government contracts, find big private contracts, right? Go through the process of a complicated sales cycle. And then I left, I sold that business and I wanted to start an AI business that solved that problem. So I am kind of like the company, going, okay, like, yeah, I'm actually going to go and solve that problem because I know it exists and I know it's a big money problem because I literally couldn't solve it with, $35 million, right? So in my last business, right, you're hiring, even in that business, I was probably spending, at least, and that's a small business, right? Still small. The biggest we got was 165 employees. We were spending, maybe $5 million a year on sales, right? And that's a small business. So, if you can help companies.
And that's not paid ads. That's just your sales team.
It's just like people, people and travel around associated with sales and all that. Yeah. So if you can help companies move their graphs up and to the right and you show the right ROI, then they will pay for what you're delivering, right? Because it's worth it. Because they know if I give you $1, I'm going to get $3 back, right? Or I'm going to get $10 back in some cases. So it's although if you're getting $1 and they're getting like $30, then you need to start charging like $10.
So, a question for you, Jesse: what if an executive quits his job at one of these massive corporations or massive things, and goes and competes with the business he used to work with by applying Intellectible from the start of his company with all his knowledge in that business? How fast do you think he could be actually competing with a company generating like $100 million?
Well, I think so. The businesses that we work with, they are very complicated businesses, right? You couldn't just leave one of those and just like start, a massive, facility management service business, right? For example, because there's a lot of people, right? You have to have, cleaners and managers and, chefs and, operations people. It's a very complicated business to run. So, yeah, I think that. You could do that, but it's not. Yeah, in my particular market, it's not. These are not businesses that you could just like overnight replace, right? This is one of the reasons why we focus on these businesses as well. They've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing. They're gonna be around for a long time. AI is not suddenly going to replace people who clean hospitals, people who install fiber, security cameras, lay road. Move earth, like these are not jobs that are suddenly going to go away. So yeah, that's a big reason why we focus on this particular market, because there's not going to be any big apocalypse like there is sort of with consultancy, for example. But yeah, so, should an executive do that? No, they should just bring Intellectible into their big company and get, a big bonus for having done that.
No, I love that. How can a regular Joe hear this and build small and medium businesses to be able, like you talked about cleaners, you talked about, there's so many jobs that can generate like $2 to $5 million, which is a pretty decent amount of like revenue for people to make, and they would live like in the top 2%, 3%, whatever, or 1% of the world.
There's a few things that I say about that, right? It's not necessary. So there. I don't have a big ego when it comes to money, et cetera. It's all about, it's less about how much you make. It's more about how much you save, right? And invest. And by invest, I don't mean investing it into your business. I mean investing it into the stock market, into 401k, into Roth, or into real estate or something like that, right? You want to, you need to build your business, and then you need to build enough escape velocity so that you can continue doing whatever you want in your life, right? For me, I just want to continue to build businesses. So that's the way that I think about it. So, there's having a like foundational layer. And now for me, I had no safety net, right? I could, if I didn't make money, I could have been homeless. And, it's, that was kind of where I was at. So, you want to make sure that when you're going to do things that, if it's just you, right? Me, I'm 25, single. I don't care. I go live in a cardboard box. I don't care.
Yep.
I'm married now. I've got a 4.5-year-old. I'll kill you with my bare hands to make sure that that situation doesn't happen, right? So so when you go off and do something, you just make sure you have the foundation so that you're not, taking, dumb risk with other people that rely on you. When it's just you, whatever. I could care less. But if other people are relying on you, then you gotta think about it now. And part of that can be like, okay, what kind of business am I going to make, right? And do you feel like you have the capabilities and the skills to deliver on value in that business? And like, how are you going to do it? And then a lot of people, I see them like leaving their jobs and then they'll go and start a business. You can start a business on the side whilst also having a job.
Yep.
See if you're good at it. See if you can make some money, doing it before you leave the thing that your whole life is based on, right? Don't like, watch some, get super, inspired by this video, right? And then, I'm going to quit. And you've only got, 2 months of personal runway. Think of your personal runway just like a business runway, because ultimately they're intertwined, right? And just make sure that you're not doing anything, too crazy. You want to be crazy, but, within reason. You want to skydive, right? With the parachute on. You don't want to just jump out of the airplane.
It's funny you say that, Jesse, because when I was starting on social media and I just started my business and it was like a baby business and I maybe like reached like $1 million in revenue and I would be on social media. I'm like, quit, and you can do it. You get that. And I was like this aggressive entrepreneur that's like talking on social media, like, crypto bros. And then after like I was a bit more mature in business and how hard it is, I changed my whole message. I'm like, think about it. It's not that. And then I got divorced and then this, and I'm like, really think about it. You know what I mean?
I think, it's easy to be, it's easy to be super gung ho about stuff when you're young and inexperienced. And, I used to think, I used to think similar thoughts, kind of. Never maybe that age, but I think that the longer you're in the battlefield, the more experience you have, and you understand what it means to be in the jungle, right? And that's and ultimately the thing about all of it is when you go out there and you compete with other businesses, it's it's like being in the jungle, right? They're going to try and eat you, and you're going to try and eat them, and you're going to try and carve out your piece of the jungle that makes sense, and the problem is that everybody else wants that piece of the jungle too.
For sure.
It's I go back and forth on it. I think when you're young and you have little to lose, right? Then you just like, Elon says it, that's when you want to take risk, right?
Yeah.
That's when you should take your craziest risks, right? And it's going to sound funny, one of my regrets early is that I feel like maybe I didn't take enough risks when I was younger, right? Because I didn't even, I went to law school because I signed a contract with my parents when I was 12 saying that I was going to go to law school, right? Because they were, doing mom and pop stuff and they thought, oh, lawyers make all the money and you need to make money. And so like, I'm going to go to law school, right? And that's literally why I went to law school. And I did not like law school, but I still, did good at it. But
really good.
But yeah, so, don't be naive. Don't be too serious either. Go do stuff.
Love it.
If it makes a great story, generally, go do it.
I think I want to ask another question, but this is such a good moment to just end the podcast at. I'm just blow-minded. This was such a nice conversation to have, Jesse. You have no idea how happy I am to have this conversation with you. So inspiring. I'm excited to see your journey to continue to grow and that you have a lot bigger goals. It's so inspiring to have you. Appreciate you opening up and talking to us. I have no words, honestly. Thank you so much for being on, and thank you for giving us your time, for being here today and just being you. Like, I asked him like, how long do you have? He's like, I'm cool. I'm good. Just
it's Friday.
Do your thing. Yeah. But so appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I just like, the last thing I'll say to anybody watching this is, anybody can be anything, right? There's a picture of a guy playing golf on the moon, right? That's some crazy stuff. So we went to the moon with like calculator-based 1960s technology. You can do whatever you want to do, and you're the only thing stopping it. So if you put your mind to it, you can do it. Anybody can win. You do have to try hard, but also don't take life too seriously. So
Love
that's
it.
That's it. That's all I got.
Love it. Can people follow you on LinkedIn? Where can people follow you?
I'm on LinkedIn. Generally, I think social media is a tough place for me. I don't like it. But LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn. Just Jesse Lozano on LinkedIn.
And if there's companies that are interested to work with you, they should reach out on your website.
Intellectible.com. We've got a booking form there. You can read more about what we do and or just reach out to me directly on LinkedIn.
What kind of companies should reach out to you if
physical service provider companies, facility
certain revenue
companies? We work with small disabled veteran-owned businesses. Typically, they've been around for a while, so 10, 15 plus years. But our sweet spot is 250 million to billions of revenue, and those businesses wanting to scale without adding headcount.
Love it. That was Jesse, guys.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate this talk. Thank you so much. Make sure to follow Jesse on LinkedIn. There's gonna be like so many clips out of this podcast, guys. Like every single thing he says was a clip. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll talk again. Very soon.
Yeah, for sure. Next time you're in town, let me know.
Have a great day, man.
If I head over to Egypt.
Yeah, bro, you have to come to Egypt. You have to come to Egypt and do. I'll take you around. You'll see everything about Egypt. You'll love it. Like going with an Egyptian and really like it's different. It's different. It's a different experience.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Thank you so much,
Hey,
Jesse.
thanks, man.
Have a good day, guys.